Hey, what's up everybody? Soundbar Dan here from Never Enough Tech. Today I unbox and give a relatively quick, well for me, overview of the Nakamichi Shockwafe Ultra 9.2. A 9.2.4 channel system. We'll circle back on that a little further down. This is an extremely quirky and I'd say easily misunderstood soundbar kit. My guess is if you have not been an owner of this system for at least a few weeks, you probably have some misconceptions around this system. And maybe there are some insights here worth hearing. So I want to do my complete coverage over 2 videos. For this video, I want to clarify the biggest questions and dispel what I believe to be the biggest misconceptions. In the follow-up, after I've marinated with this kit a bit more, I'll give a more detailed account of the system and my final opinions on whether this is a quality product, considering stability, user experience, the amount of hair I lost from pulling it out, and most importantly, my take on the sound. So what's in this 80-pound box? We got a hefty number of loosies here, crinkle crinkle, 4 satellite speakers, going with satellite rather than surrounds to avoid naming confusion. Nakamichi named some of the satellites surrounds and others back speakers, so you know, leave me alone. We got 2 subwoofers, yeah bubba, and the soundbar, I think, together giving you 1,000 watts of max power, and a frequency response of 30 to 22,000 hertz. What's up with these accessories? But wait, and this is pretty cool, an Atmos demo Blu-ray. It's actually not that easy to get your hands on these, so good on you, Nakamichi. Alright, the satellite speakers. You got 4 of them. 2 labeled surrounds, right and left, and 2 labeled back, also right and left. The casing is made of a silver plastic and the grill is black metal. But if you ask someone off the street, at least half would say plastic. None of my senses are screaming high quality metallic. For instance, the Bose OmniJewel 700 surrounds, while questionable in size, clearly had a quality metal build. Not getting that here. The satellites are neither super light nor heavy, though they fall on the larger side amongst the soundbar kit satellite speakers. There's absolutely nothing remarkable about the quality materials, nor are they a complete joke. They feel very average. The shape, well, maybe it can be best explained by how a 3-year-old draws a house. Bless your heart, Nakamichi. It has 7 sides. None of the sides are shaped like the others except the ends. On one of the ends you'll find a very generous rubber pad, amongst the most generous I've encountered. You'll find your mounting holes, toggles, and wire ports on whatever side this is. Make sure to pay attention to the labels, right, left, back, surround. Now you would not be crazy to assume that each of these speakers have 2 channels based on the shape and how the grill lies. So a channel here, and here I guess. Nope. Each of these speakers have a woofer and tweeter pair on this side. This is the only side with sound makers. The pair constitute a single channel. And that's it. Immediately those paying attention should wonder where the 4 dedicated upward firing speakers are, as it is typical in soundbar kits for the satellites to have upward firing speakers if it's a 3D audio enabled system, like this one. So the shape, while odd, is functional in that Nakamichi wants to give you 3 orientation options for each speaker to let you physically adjust your height effects experience to some limited degree. You got the standard or straight up position on the big rubber pad, which is recommended most highly in the manual, and supposedly leads to the best 360 surround effect, but has the least emphasis on height effects. You have a slight angle up option, elevation 2, that still emphasizes traditional surround, but is intended to add a little extra to the overall height effect. And elevation 1 that is height effect centric, though still contributes to the ear level 360 effect. If you're thinking a speaker can't be an ear level and a height level at the same time, I feel you. Beyond the 3 different speaker orientations, if your space does not support having speakers circling your couch, you can consolidate by making speaker bipoles mounting the 2 right and left satellites together. Pairing hardware is provided. When you create 2 bipoles, you effectively just have 2 satellite speakers to deal with as opposed to 4. Obviously, this is not the most recommended configuration as you don't get the same kind of separation that is ideal when generating a surround sound bubble, but only if you toggle the back satellites to bipole. Keep in mind the system has no clue how these speakers lay, so the speakers are not adjusting their output, EQ, whatever, because you've selected elevation 2 as opposed to elevation 1. Anyway, you can play with all these options in your setup. Find your sound, bro. The 2 subs, they talk wirelessly to the soundbar. They have a big footprint and are very tall, and lots of sharp edges and corners. They are cased in a lightweight wood, which really kind of gives it a homespun feel, like it was an A+ Eagle Scout project, but maybe not made by a machine, nor maybe master craftsman. The 10-inch driver is facing down and can be viewed through this 4-way port here. You have all your pair buttons, light indicators, power ports, and audio connections here in the back. It's recommended that you place these subs in between the couch and the TV on the sides of you. Kind of amusing as they are so huge and obtrusive. You gotta really want your sound to have these things taking up 1/8 of your living room play space. I imagine most will want to find a more tucked away location. You'll want to pay attention to the direction label for sure here, as there is a left and right sub that feed left and right satellites respectively. Pay attention, be an adult. Alright, the soundbar. Pretty much completely black, save the gray sliver accent that gives it the same color palette as the surrounds. You have the same metal grille, but otherwise the remainder of the casing is plastic. The soundbar has 9 sides. None of them look like they belong on a soundbar really. So quirky. Looks like 2003's vision of a futuristic speaker. On the top here we have 5 rubber clickety buttons. Power, source, demo. Keep your socks on, it's kind of lame.
Left subwoofer.
And volume down and up. In the back you have your ports. Power, auxiliary, optical, USB, 3 HDMI pass-through inputs. This is one more than say the Q950T, SN11RG, or Q90R. Each are HDMI 2.0 with HDCP 2.2. And your ARC port, I mean eARC. Nope, just ARC. This means you cannot move uncompressed audio from your TV to the bar. You can still get Netflix-style Atmos from the TV, but not Blu-ray Dolby True HD Atmos from the TV. So I imagine I lost a few more of you given the lack of eARC support and HDMI 2.1. But not all hope is lost, as the bar does fully support all your audio format. You just need to plug directly into the bar if you want uncompressed audios, so your LPCM, DTS HD Master Audio, and DTSX. Lack of eARC is more of a detour than a roadblock to the audio promised land. And before I forget to mention, these pass-throughs do support Dolby Vision. But A+ here on video audio codec support. The full suite, no funny business. So the soundbar is a 5.0 channel system and is driven by 8 drivers, 6 woofers, and 2 tweeters. So 2 woofers each for the left, center, and right channel. Typically the center channel throws in a tweeter in there for voice clarity. Not here. I think this is the only soundbar I've tested without a tweeter in the center channel. So that's a bit of a downer at face. And finally, we have a single tweeter on each end of the bar for what Nakamichi calls the surround effects channel. Others might call them wide left and right. Okay, so right in the box it says a 9.2.4 system. We got 5 channels on the bar, 4 channels on the surrounds, and 2 subwoofers. So 9.2, we're with you Nakamichi. But where in the heck does the .4 come from? Some context. Nakamichi needs to take their soundbar to Dolby and have them certify it as Dolby Atmos compatible. This system is fairly highly regarded by Dolby as a Dolby Atmos soundbar system, being featured on their site. I'll just be innocent and assume there was no funny business there. So Dolby is ostensibly kind of a fan of the system, which would lead me to believe that they are achieving an object-oriented elevation effect, at least to the degree Dolby finds acceptable, without dedicated upward firing speakers. But why is the upward firing channel 4? Why not 2? Why not 6? Why not 24? Regardless of how you position your speakers, it's a .4. Nakamichi is gaslighting me. Anyway, since Nakamichi does not have dedicated upward firing speakers, or let's say no upward firing speakers, if you place these as prescribed, they need to use extra super duper sound processing to virtualize height channels. Nakamichi does this with their proprietary SSE processing engine. SSE stands for Spatial, Surround, Elevation. So on the spatial front, Nakamichi uses the 8 system tweeters to exaggerate spaciousness and directionality of sound events. Surround, the engine makes decisions about how to upscale content to its 11 physical channels and make it sound balanced, believable, and lifelike. Elevation enables 3D object-based content, including Dolby Atmos and DTSX, and layers height effects using all the drivers, minus the 2 subs, enabling the listener to perceive vertical directionality effects. You can choose to deactivate SSE or select one of 3 modes for different sized rooms. Okay, the display, nothing fancy. A 5-digit single color LED display. It gives you information on virtually everything from volume to codec type, channel level to firmware version. It's an extremely important display because there is no app. It's pretty much the only way you can confirm what is happening with the system. Thank goodness they didn't put it on top of the bar. The remote. Well, considering there is no app, it carries a lot of weight. To its credit, you can get a whole bunch of functionality with a single button press. There are settings that require many button presses, I'll provide more detail in the follow-up review. The manual is quite the read if you're bored. To close, this bar is not Wi-Fi enabled, so like I said, no app, but also no AirPlay, Chromecast, voice assistants, and no over-the-air updates. You do get Bluetooth with aptX, which gives you a higher quality connection and up to CD quality playback. USB does support music playback. Tech support is not clear on the high-res support. Let's say music is certainly not a priority. Ultra-stimulating surround audio is certainly more the aim with this system. If you bought this system recently or are thinking of buying one, you will want to update to the latest firmware version 35. It does seem to increase the bass and surround stability. You can find a link to this firmware in the description. You've got to find yourself a USB stick, but otherwise pretty painless. Setup was plug and play, no issues, delightful, enough said. Alright, think I've covered what I want for this round. I welcome questions. If this video was for you, maybe throw a like or sub or comment. Otherwise, thanks for sticking around. Gonna wrap this up. Catch you on the next one.